You guys are going to draft a letter. All of you are going to sign it. That letter is going to go to Netflix. And you're going to tell Netflix, if anything like this ever happens again, there will be a national black boycott of Netflix. And not only are we going to boycott Netflix in America, we're going to ask our continental African brothers and sisters, our Australian African brothers and sisters, our Canadian African brothers and sisters, our European African brothers and sisters, our Caribbean African brothers and sisters, our Central and South American African brothers and sisters to boycott Netflix. If Netflix ever disrespects black people like this again, you will pay with your pocketbook. I need the black pastors to send Netflix a letter, Art. I need the Congressional Black Caucus to send Netflix a letter. I need the Divine Nine, black fraternities and sororities to send Netflix a letter. I need the Urban League, the NAACP, and every grassroots black organization, the Black Masons included. Send Netflix a letter and tell them, if this ever happens again, Netflix will be canceled by the black African race. You are not going to play in our face as you benefit from our pain.
Now, y'all might be wondering, what has led to him calling this out? What has led to this?
Shane Gillis makes this joke, Art. He says, Cheryl's husband unalived himself. Obviously, black does crack because he jumped off a effing roof. Did you hear what I just said? I'm going to say it again. Shane Gillis said Cheryl's husband unalived himself. Obviously, black does crack if it's married to Sheryl and jumps off an effing roof. So I do my research, Art, and guess what I find out? Her husband took his own life by jumping to his death, bro. They made a joke about her husband's suicide, Art. And check this out. It wasn't one joke about her husband's suicide. They repeatedly, throughout the whole show, made jokes about Sheryl Underwood's husband's suicide to millions of people watching this Netflix special all over the world. Let's continue. They call Pete Davidson a wigger, W-I-G-G-E-R. You know what a wigger is? A white person who loves niggas. Then he said, the Golden State Warriors logo is a bridge. Don't show that to Cheryl's husband. You see that, Art? Her husband is deceased. He took his own life. They repeatedly made jokes about this woman's deceased husband. Don't show her husband the Golden State Warriors logo on their jersey because he might want to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. Let's continue, Art. Then Shane says, racist devil, Shane Gillis, he says, I called Sheryl last night and asked her if it was okay to say some of these jokes. I want to say this to my sister, Sheryl Underwood, Art. I love her. I respect her. Great comedian. I love you, Sister Sheryl. But don't you ever again in your life give permission for white people to disrespect you, disrespect your deceased husband, or disrespect us. Because one thing we got to understand, Art, when they make these jokes about these comedians, they're not just attacking them. They're attacking all of us because they're digging up these old racialized jokes from the slave plantation and they're trying to make them popular again. I know exactly what this is, Art. Just like they trying to put us back in Jim Crow with the vote, they trying to put us back in Jim Crow with the comedy. They're trying to get our black comedians to give them a license to publicly insult, belittle, disparage, and disrespect black people. And I want Netflix to know we not having it. We not having this. We are not going to stand by and let white folks manipulate our comedians into making an ass out of themselves on TV for money so they can make it look like black people don't mind being treated like porch monkeys. Black people don't mind treated like animals. See, they shouldn't have the right to vote anyway. See, they should all be locked up anyway, because who would sit up there and laugh at themselves being humiliated by racist white people? Let me continue, Art. Another joke. Kevin, it must suck being at 5'1", but at least being that short allows them to tell you apart from all the other blacks. In other words, Art, we all look alike. Then Shane said, they told me to be racist. He said this, they told me to be racist. He said it on the mic. And listen to this joke from Shane Neanderthal Gillis. He said, Kevin's ancestors came to America on a slave ship and a bottle. Kevin's ancestors came to America in a slave ship and a bottle, Art. Obviously talking about him being small, but you making fun of our enslavement, the greatest crime in human history, even validated as such by the United Nations last month. Are you kidding? You're going to make fun about the enslavement of my ancestors and you're going to pass it off as comedy. Art, this was not comedy. This was a public execution of the honor, self-respect, and integrity of Black America, and we not going for it. Let me continue. Listen to this one, Art. Kevin's father was a California raisin, but he wasn't raising anybody. His dad was addicted to crack, and he abandoned him. But I guess that's better than being there for the filming of Jumanji 3. I'm telling you, Art, if I didn't see it myself, if I didn't see this myself, you couldn't have told me that these were the jokes that came out of white people's mouths on international television while we were sitting right in front of their face. Let's continue.
You know, I'm going to pause it right here because he said a lot. He said a lot. Like, shout out first and foremost because there's still people that are very attentive to this stuff. And this stuff has been going on for so long that at this point, it's almost like we're numb to it. So, Cheryl's husband is no longer here, but they're using that event for humor, for comedy. And I'll just say this, like, I stopped watching American comedy a long time ago because it's not funny. Like, take a show like America's Funniest Home Videos, right? Broadcast all over the world. But it's other people's pain that we're laughing at. And usually the skateboards, skits or the ones involving bicycles, people get hurt doing those. But every time they'll show a clip of a person actually getting hurt, then they play this fake laughter, ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? So you're conditioned to find amusement in the pain and suffering of other people. I no longer watch shows like Saturday Night Live. There was a skit, it involved The Rock, and it involved a child assaulting robot. It featured on Saturday Night Live. Just go look up child assaulting robot, The Rock. Just search it up for yourself. You won't even believe that was shown on national TV. But it is. And you think people canceled The Rock for that? No. In fact, he became an even bigger star after that. You know what I mean? So the society's been broken for a long time. The fact that it's now like to this overt in your face, you can't ignore it. It's because it's been going on behind the scenes. Nobody noticed it. Now we're being forced to notice it. And now we have a problem with it. But hey, better late than never.
Here's another one. Now, Shane Gillis didn't say all these jokes, Art. Some of the other white comedians said them too when they got up to the podium. But most of them came from Shane's Neanderthal Gillis. Listen to this one. Kevin did well in Saudi Arabia because they thought he was the monkey from Aladdin.
How is that funny?
It ain't funny, Art. It ain't funny. This was not comedy, bro. This was a get back for Drewski portraying Erica Kirk. But I don't have a problem with what Drewski did, Art, because he wasn't vulgar. He didn't call that woman a bitch. He didn't mention Charlie Kirk's name. All he did was imitate her behaviors, Art, for 3 minutes. That's all Drewski did. But white people are so narcissistic, so paranoid, so psychologically entitled that they don't even think a black comedian has a right to do a skit of a black woman, of a white woman in whiteface when this white woman clearly supports the anti-black agenda of this government. You damn right Drewski had a right to do what he did.
Here's where I'm gonna say I disagree, right? If blackface was offensive to black people, doing whiteface as a black man would also be offensive to a white person. So just because they did it first to me and now I get to do it back to them, that's unbiblical, straight up. Like, vengeance is his, says the Lord. He will avenge. We're not supposed to take it upon ourselves to do the same evil back to them. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be sons of God. And that means that sometimes, and you might not be subscribing to the same faith. So I understand there's also that aspect, right? We don't all believe the same, don't have the same beliefs. But in our faith, we're called to be different. So it's no longer an eye for an eye, but now I get to extend love to my enemy. Love thy enemy, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Like, let's not lie and act like we've all been perfect, right? We've also done things, possibly to other people, that cause them harm, right? And we want grace for those things that we might have done to others to cause them harm, and forgiveness as well. So let's also extend forgiveness to others, not just do what they did to us first. You know what I mean? So I'm not with the whole painting faces trying to depict other people. We can be funny without being offensive.
I'm glad Drewski did what he
Which is
did.
part of what he's
But guess
talking
what,
about.
Art? These jokes that they did at this Kevin Hart roast, it makes Drewski's Erica Kurt skit look like a picnic, Art. You cannot compare that Drewski skit of Erica Kurt to what they did to Sheryl Underwood. In fact, Art, this should not have been called a roast of Kevin Hart. You know what they should have called it? The roast of Sheryl Underwood. This was the roast of Sheryl Underwood. They lured our sister there. They sat her up front, Art. They racially targeted her, and they unloaded on that beautiful, dark-skinned black woman all night long. This was a get back for Erica Kirk.
And she gave the permission, meaning she gave them the ammunition to then offend her family, and offend the rest of us just by one person's actions. So we need to always remember that I'm not just representing me, I'm representing all of us.
Kevin is so short, they will have to lynch him from a bonsai tree. Kevin is so short, they will have to lynch him from a bonsai tree. I got something I want to say. Somebody said that Pastor Jamal Bryant came out, as he should, shout out to Pastor Jamal Bryant, and he rebuked Netflix for this comedy special. Several black people did, but I want Pastor Jamal Bryant to go one step further. Pastor Bryant, you know what you're going to do, sir? You're going to get with other black ministers around the country, and you guys are going to draft a letter. All of you are going to sign it. That letter is going to go to Netflix, and you're going to tell Netflix, If anything like this ever happens again, there will be a national black boycott of Netflix. And not only are we going to boycott Netflix in America, we're going to ask our continental African brothers and sisters, our Australian African brothers and sisters, our Canadian African brothers and sisters, our European African brothers and sisters, our Caribbean African brothers and sisters, our Central and South American African brothers and sisters to boycott Netflix.
We copy that loud and clear.
If Netflix ever disrespects black people like this again, you will pay with your pocketbook. I need the black pastors to send Netflix a letter, Art.